All right, y'all. It's fight week. We got Tank. We got Frank Martin. The fight is this Saturday. If you didn't know, we're gonna take a look into their training camp. At the last week of training camp, you don't do too much training. You kind of doing a lot of mental preparing. You doing a lot of interviews. You doing a lot of recovering. So you don't train that much on the last week of training camp. So training camp is basically over. So we're gonna take a look at the strength and weakness that I have seen in both of their training camp. Now, one thing about Frank Martin, he's the bigger fighter, believe it or not, muscle wise. If you look at Frank Martin arms and shoulders, he's bigger than Tank. He got more muscle mass. Tank got a lot of speed and power, but this training camp, Tank had put on a lot of muscle. I'm surprised to see Tank had put on this much muscle mass, but Tank has put on a lot of muscle. But I think Frank is still the bigger guy. But muscles don't really win fight anyway, so. But muscle can give you a little bit more power, though. It can. I know it don't win fight, but it can give you a little bit more power. But Tank he been looking focused this fight, but he been looking nervous too. And I think because Tank haven't fought in a year, guys. It been 14 months since Tank fought. That is a long layoff. And any boxer can tell you when you take that long not fighting, you can be out of rhythm. Now Tank Camp is working real hard on that right check hook. They think Frank Martin is susceptible. They think Frank Martin is vulnerable to their right hook. Now Tank Camp been working real hard on landing that right hook. Tank has also did a lot of road work. He did a lot of road work this training camp. So he trying to make sure his stamina is at the top level because Frank do a lot of moving around. And Frank been working a lot on his speed more this training camp. He been working a lot on his speed and shorter punches. If you can see right here, he's throwing a lot of short punches right in the center. They don't plan on bagging up this fight. From what I heard, Derrick James don't want Frank Martin to bag up. He want him to circle around Tank. He don't want him fighting on the back foot, which I agree with. Y'all remember I said that in the last video I made with Frank Martin. I said for him to win this fight, he cannot be fighting on the back foot the whole fight. He got to come forward, and he need to be the aggressor. Tank haven't fought in a year. So why would you give him that opportunity to warm up by bagging up? So Frank Martin been working real hard on his power shots, on staying in the inside and trading with Tank. And I think that's smart. I know a lot of people say it's not, but Frank Martin need to be bagging up Tank during this fight. So he been working on that, throwing his hooks short, throwing his punches real short. He been working real hard on that in this training camp. Tank has been working real hard on landing the shot. Tank already got power. He know he got power. He just been working on the accuracy a lot, just making sure his hand speed is still fast. And he just want to touch Frank. He feel like if he touch Frank, his camp, they think that if they can get a good landing punch on Frank, they think they can knock him out. They don't think Frank has ever been hit by somebody like Tank, and he haven't. And they don't think Frank Martin got a good chin. So Tank and them been working real hard on this. I love the drill Tank do because this help with your power and kind of throwing a punch with power. Now Frank Martin been looking real good in his sparring. He been keeping his hands up, keeping his elbows tight. He really haven't been getting hit clean. So I like that about Frank Martin. He throwing a lot of combination, and that's how I think Frank gonna have to win the fight. He gonna have to throw combination. Now Tank in his training camp been working on trying to deceive that left hand. He been throwing a lot of body shots and working on coming up like he just did, throwing to the body then coming up. And Tank been working real hard on that during that training camp because they think Frank Martin he's a smart fighter. They know they just can't throw a punch because Frank Martin is a good counterpuncher. Now I think this gonna be Tank's secret weapon. He haven't thrown a left uppercut in a while, so Frank Martin will not be expecting it. So I think there'll be a punch that he can catch Frank Martin with. But Frank Martin throw a lot of fast combinations, guys. As you just seen in that video, he throw a lot of fast combinations. He do a good job of stepping back and countering with that left hand, which is why they working on Tank setting up knockout punching, not just throwing the left hand and throwing the right hand without doing something to set it up. So Tank and them been working real hard on that. Frank Martin been working on staying inside with Tank, circling around, being athletic, kind of moving around. They think they can be faster than Tank because Tank haven't fought in a while. So that's why Frank Martin been working real hard on his speed in some of the workouts he been doing. So, guys, this should be a good fight. especially because Tank haven't fought in a while, and then Frank is coming up. He got all the tools you'll need to make it a hard fight for Tank. I don't know if Tank can win. I mean, I don't know if Frank Martin can win on the scoring card because Tank is the face of boxing to a certain extent. We got Canelo. We still got Canelo. We got Bud. We got Errol Spence. Errol Spence still draws a lot of attention too. So Tank is one of them money makers of boxing. So if it's a close fight, it goes to him because boxing they need him. They need him to make money. So Frank Martin cannot win this on a decision unless he just one side beat Tank, and I just don't see that happening. So Frank Martin got to knock out Tank or get a TKO. He got to come out aggressive. Now Tank can win 3 different ways. He can win off knockout, TKO, or decision. That's why they say it's so hard to beat the champion. And to beat the champion, you really got to beat the champion. So I hope Frank Martin is coming in here trying to knock Tank out, trying to end this fight, not hoping to go to decision. A decision is not good enough for Frank. So it really depends on Frank's mindset. A lot of times when it goes into these fights, we don't talk about the mindset of both fighters. If Frank's mindset is he can go to the decision and win this fight, he's going to lose this fight. If he go in thinking, I need to put pressure on Tank, I can knock him out, I need to knock him out. Now, I know y'all saying, oh, he can get caught. He can get caught, but you can get caught anyway. Tank is one of those fighters that know how to set up punches. You can try to fight on your back foot the whole fight. You try to come forward. Tank can't catch you with a shot no matter what you do. So you can't let that distract you from going that Tank. And what you've seen in Ryan Garcia, after he got dropped, he still came forward. You got to do that with a fighter like Tank because he's going to catch you anyway. He's just that good of a counterpuncher. You can't let that phase you. So we'll see what this fight will do. I think this is going to be a really, really good fight. Man, I got Tank by TKO because I don't think Frank Martin can handle Tank punches. I never seen Frank really get hit with a hard shot. So I don't know. I know Tank can take a good punch. So I got Tank by TKO. I think Frank is going to go into the corner and Derrick James going to look at him and say, man, I'm stopping this fight. We'll see, guys. Anything can happen in the fight, but I'm looking forward to it.